you're looking to get your lure fishing fix over the spring months, then canals are a great venue to try. They crisscross the country. In fact, there's over 2,000 miles of canal that go across the UK, so there's a very good chance you probably live within a fairly close proximity of one. And they can provide some fantastic fishing for pike, perch. Some stretches of canal have zander and chub as well. And if you're looking to head out during the spring months and get a little bit of lure fishing action, then fishing some of the micro lures within the fox range, from the fish snacks range in particular, can be really effective. And it's not all about catching big fish, it's just getting some bites really. And I've started today with a micro Tiddler fast, which is one of my favourite shads within the fish snacks range. And today I'm hoping that, well, actually I don't really know what I could pick up. It could be a pike, a perch or a zander. So we'll have a little wander along this section of canal and hopefully we'll get a few bites. I'm out fishing with my dad today and I've managed to bend his ear to be on camera because it's his birthday and he's caught the first fish of the day. So it's a small perch. We don't normally catch perch along this section of canal, it tends to be more zander, but it took a fish snacks mini fry in white, which is a bright colour that stands out well in this muddy water. So hopefully you found a few more fish, so well done and happy birthday. Cheers. So just 3 casts after catching his first fish, he's caught another slightly bigger one. Yeah, they've got really nice colours as well, considering, because normally if you catch fish from a kind of muddy canal, they can be a bit washed out, but the colours on these perch are really nice. So I'm guessing that you've found a shoal, and this is a really fishy location that we're in at the moment. It's a wide water just below a lock. It's quite deep as well, with a deep undercut bank over the back there, so no wonder there's a few fish here. So at the moment I'm just below a lock and a boat has just gone through, and it's amazing how when a boat comes past you can actually really switch the fish on. And I've often had it where I've cast just after a boat has gone past and had a bite, and that's exactly what's happened here. So I think what it does is that it stirs up the bottom and disorientates the bait fish, and the predators take advantage. And I've just been using a micro grub and managed to catch this little perch. Pink is a great colour for dirty water conditions, and the reason I put the micro grub on is because the curl tail gives it a very slow fall rate. There are 5 different types of micro lures within the Fox Rage range, and I'm going to explain to you the main differences between them. So the first of those, which is the largest of the soft baits, is the mini fry. And this is a shad with a fairly deep body and a fairly large paddle tail to it as well. It's the lure that me and my dad have caught most of our fish on today, and I think the reason why it's particularly effective on canals is because it has a big profile, and this paddle tail here creates a lot of movement and vibration, which in the coloured water makes it easier for fish to home in on. The rest of the soft baits within the micro lure range are quite a bit smaller than the mini fry, and the next one down from the mini fry is the micro fry. So it's basically a shrunken mini fry. It's got, again, for its size, a deep body and a really large paddle tail, so when this falls through the water it creates a ton of movement, and even the body sort of shakes quite a lot, and it has a rolling action to it as well. So this is for when I'm fishing again in coloured water. I like something that's going to create a lot of movement and stand out. So that's the micro fry. The next lure, which is the last of the shads in the range, is the Micro Tiddler Fast, and this has got a much slimmer profile to it. It's quite a bit different from the other three that I've just talked to you about, and it's also got a much smaller paddle tail as well. It's actually one of my favourite soft baits in the micro lure range because it's great for finesse applications. So you can use it in coloured water and it's been successful for me, but I've done particularly well when I've been fishing in crystal clear rivers and lakes and fishing some of the dull colours in this. The subtle tail action just really seems to work well for perch. In fact, I've even caught chub and even barbel on this lure, so it's been a real get out of jail lure at times, and it's got the perfect profile of a minnow, so it works especially well on rivers, either rigged on a jig head. I've got this rigged on a 2 gram size 2, which is about perfect for getting the tail moving, but it also works really well on a Dropshot rig as well because it's got such a small paddle tail. The last of the soft baits within the micro lure range is not a shad, it's the micro grub, and it's got this large curl tail at the back that makes it a great choice for fishing in areas where you have overhanging structure like overhanging trees, bushes, moored barges as well in particular, because what you can do when rigged on a light jig head, you can cast the lure to the structure and then it gives it a much slower fall rate than a shad would, and this gives the fish plenty of time to see the lure as it's falling down to the bottom. It's also a bit more of a unique action to it as well. I think on a lot of stretches of canals and rivers and other venues across the country, fish get used to seeing shads, but something like a curl tail is quite a bit different and they can really wake fish up. This is also particularly effective when fished on a straight retrieve as well, and I've actually caught a couple of fish today from this canal on the micro grub, so it's definitely a good one to try when the going gets tough. Oh, that's a nice perch. Wow, that came out of nowhere. So I had a cast over to the back of the reeds and had a hit, which I missed. Anyway, had a few more casts in that swim, had no joy, so I moved down a little bit opposite the area. I thought I'd cover it from a different angle. Had another hit, which I missed, and 2 jigs later, this fish took it. So I've actually recently just changed to a mini fry. The reason being is that the winds got up a bit and I wanted to feel a bit more what was going on, and the mini fry is a little bit heavier, and also I thought a bigger profile might help in this coloured water, and it's paid off with this lovely perch. Depending on which canal you have near you and how busy it can be, the clarity of the water can vary greatly. So some canals can be absolutely crystal clear, but others can be really, really coloured. And it's always a good thing to carry a variety of colours of soft baits with you wherever you're fishing really, but especially on canals, because it can really vary from pound to pound at times. So the canal I've been fishing today, it's coloured. I've seen it more coloured, but that's probably because it's March at the moment and there's not as much boat traffic. But in the summer months, I can imagine this probably only has about 2 to 3 inches of visibility. Today there's probably 5 to 6 inches, but I'm still needing to use bright and bold colours to help the soft bait stand out and to help the fish see the lure. So some of the colours that have been working well for me today have been pink, fire tiger as well, and also white. My dad's caught a few fish on white. But bright and bold colours tend to work well when the conditions are like this. But it's worth experimenting, like always, because you never know. Sometimes sort of like darker colours can work really well when the water's coloured. So it's always worth carrying a selection of colours with you and giving them a try and see what works on the day. I've brought along 2 rods with me today, and they're both from the Prism X range. The one that I've been using the most has been the rod that I'm using right now, which is the light spin. It's 6'11" and it casts between 2 to 8 grams. So it's perfect for fishing the micro soft baits on the tiny jig heads. And the other rod is a designated drop shot rod, and I've got a short distance between the hook and the drop weight because the canal I'm fishing is quite shallow really. So what that enables me to do is fish the soft bait fairly close to the bottom. The Prism X range of rods are kind of like a middle of the road option within the Rage range, and I really like them, especially for fishing some of these smaller soft baits and the micro jig heads, because although they're very sensitive, they have quite a soft action to them. So it makes them ideal for fishing some of the micro jig heads which have particularly fine wire hooks. And when you hook a big fish, sometimes having that extra soft action to it really helps, and you know, you don't get the hook bending open. So for fishing some of the tiny lures, I think that's a bonus really. And they've got a very crisp action, so you can feel the bites well. And I think for the money, they're a really good range of rods. So I really enjoy fishing them on canals like this. It's been pretty cold today, and I think that grey sky behind us is a band of sleet coming over. So I think we're going to wrap up fairly soon. Yeah, it's been pretty chilly, and in conditions like this, the fishing can be pretty tough. But that's when micro lures can really come into their own and help you get a few bites when larger lures aren't working. And it's definitely worked today because we've managed to catch a few perch. So it has been worth braving the cold. Thanks for watching, and I hope you've learned a little bit today, and I'll see you soon.